Your three C's for creating six figures in your spiritual biz. With me, Dee Savoie. I am your Goddess Awakening Guide, which means I work with seasoned women to help them become the HGIC head goddess in charge of their lives and their businesses. And I'm having a day. But one thing you say about me is I never say die. I started out, I was supposed to be on with you today at 1 o'clock. And it just did not work out that way. And it's funny because, our first C that we're going to talk about is clarity. And so where was I today? I was at the eye doctor. And luckily I discovered that my eyes are in perfect health. They just need some glasses on them so I can see. But other than that, my eyes are in perfect health. No cataracts, no glaucoma, no this or that or the other thing that starts to happen when we start to get just a wee bit up there in years. So I was so happy with that news and to be able to share it with you and to also recognize that I feel that right now, and maybe this is why my eyes are in such great shape, is that I have so much real clarity about where I am right now, where I am with my business, the things that I want to incorporate into my business, and the people that I want to work with. And that hasn't always been the case for me. You know, I started doing healing work way back in the early 2000s where I didn't know what the heck I was doing. You know, I knew I wanted to help women, and I think all of us women come to the planet knowing that we are here to serve, we're here to help. But how do we go about doing that? How do we do that in a way that's healthy for us and for our clients? How do we give without giving too much? And how do we make sure that our own cup is filled and not just pouring out indiscriminately to other folks? So these are all things that I have had to learn over the course of my business. And, I wasn't in business like straight through. It really was more like, a start and a stop, a stop and a start and a start and a stop because, I was a wife, I was a mom, I was a teacher, I was a this, I was a Jill of all trades, as well as someone who wanted to help others. And actually, a lot of I think my healing ideas came about through my writing and publishing career. So now I'm at a point where I really feel like I know what I'm about, and that is showing up not only in how I feel about it, but in the clients that are showing up, in the money that's showing up, in the satisfaction that's showing up, in the fulfillment that's showing up, and in the expansion of what I started with into what I really want to continue with. So I feel like I am in the perfect place right now to help other people do the same thing for themselves. And so if you can say for yourself that um, this is what you want to hear about in your own life, I'm not going to ask for anybody to post anything in the comments because I think sometimes people are just like, yeah, okay, one. Two, whatever's the question, yeah, I did that. Okay, fine. But it doesn't really help us all that much, right? So, what I want to do for today is to dive into the concept of the three C's and then talk about clarity per se. Okay? And when I think about us on the road of our lives, for our not only just for our life, but for our business as well. Maybe it's I'm dating myself here, but I often think of the Wizard of Oz. And I think I have a little bit of a unique take on the Wizard of Oz. I saw somebody the other day talking about how the Wizard of Oz is really about some poor woman who takes on the problems of three broken men and tries to drag them off to fix them and heal them. And in some ways, I actually agree with that. But it's not, if we take it at a different level, it's not three men, but three aspects of ourselves that need to be tapped into and to be healed in order for us to do our work for ourselves, for our families, and for the people that we wish to help. And so I see those three companions as three different parts of our intuitive system. And the first companion that Dorothy picks up is the scarecrow. And what does the scarecrow have to do with? It's to do with the brain. And what intuitive center does the brain deal with? It deals with the third eye, right? The next character she meets is the Tin Woodsman. And then what does the Tin Woodsman need? Well, what does he think he needs, right? He thinks he needs a heart. And then when she finally meets up with the Cowardly Lion thinks he needs courage. He really doesn't. What he needs is confidence. So these are the three aspects of ourselves that we are trying to work on as we go out throughout our lives and through our businesses. And by the way, the Cowardly Lion corresponds with the combination kind of the solar plexus and the sacral chakras working together. Okay, that gut feeling, right? The noive that the Cowardly Lion talks about. So, as we go about looking at these three aspects of our businesses, we really want to be able to open up to those three types of intuitions that are in our bodies. And so, as I always like to do whenever I do a class, I want to take a moment because, we all kind of get hit up with, maybe too much up in that third eye aspect. And we want to settle our energy down just a little bit. So let's take a deep, calming breath. And one more. And one more time. And since we want to connect with these three aspects of ourselves, let's take a moment to feel, just for a moment, that third eye element. And as you know, I firmly believe that the front of the body is the masculine, the back of the body is the feminine. So we always want to meet down the middle in the energy spine. Even if we feel like our energy is forward or whatever, we really want to come straight down that energy spine when we're connecting with each aspect. So in that center, that soul vision center, feel a beautiful ball of white light forming. And let it get stronger and activate and enlarge and expand. Just like the size of a ping pong ball. Do the same for the heart center, right in that center between you, where you find the heart and the lungs. You're going to create a beautiful ball of white light right there. And let it expand and activate to the size of a ping pong ball. And then hit up the area somewhere, wherever it's comfortable for you, because this is really going to be determined by your own energy field. Where between the solar plexus and the sacral chakras you want to have that ball of light grow. And you can see it growing, expanding down that energy spine in the middle. Activating, expanding to the size of a ping pong ball. And then just allow these energies to keep growing outward so that you have a circle of energy around the third eye, a circle of energy around the heart, and a circle of energy wherever you placed that third energy center. And just allow these energies to kind of commingle together and continue to activate and expand until they create a beautiful cocoon around your entire body. And now as each of these energies is expanded and activated, you can call on whichever energy you need during this process and during this work that we're doing here together today. You don't need to just depend on one or the other. You can depend on all of them. And now I got a hair stuck on my lipstick. Get out of here. All right. So let's get into it. When we talk about clarity, what we really want to know is, what do you see? That's the primary question. What do you see? And not only what do you see, but how precisely do you see it? Those are two aspects. What do you see? How precisely do you see it? That's why when I went to the eye doctor today, they did all these flipping and flapping and flipping. Is it better A or is it better B? Is it better C or is it better D? And, sometimes you can't really tell the difference between them. It's like, that's like such a minor difference that who the heck knows? But the idea, as we are working with our lives and our businesses, is to figure out, what do we want to see, and then make that vision as clear, as concise, as strong, as potent as possible, so that we can carry that into our lives and our businesses. Okay? And that's why I say it took me years to really figure out what I was doing. And I think sometimes the more things you can do, the more difficult it becomes to hone down, or as people talk about, niche down into what it is that you're doing. Because the more things you could do, well, I could write, I could do this, I could heal, I could this. So what aspects of what I know I can do become the most important to me? That become the path that I want to walk on. That become the path that I know I can help myself and others on. And do it in a way that is not going to rob me of my own life potential, just in order to help others. Okay? So this is really the most important question that you can ask yourself. And this is something that I really feel nobody else can tell you. You have to be your own visionary. You have to be your own hermit on the hill that looks into your own soul and says, this is what is calling me. And you have to be open to hearing yourself when you speak. And I'm going to give you an example of what I mean. This past weekend, no, not this weekend, the weekend before, which is why all of this got delayed. I had a beautiful retreat up in Teal House in Connecticut. And excuse me, I knew this was something that I wanted to do. I had planned retreats a couple of times, but I don't think I really put my heart and soul into it coming off. It was kind of, when you half-ass things and then things don't come to fruition, then who's to blame? I don't know. That's when you're not taking full and complete responsibility for who you are and what you're trying to do. That's when you are not the head goddess in charge of your own life. You're just leaving things up to chance, kind of, because you put stuff out there in the world, but you don't back it up. But this time I did. And I worked with a beautiful partner, Jessica Bonds, and we had a fabulous time creating an experience for women that was so wonderful that we immediately decided we got to do this again. And it's on for October, the end of October. And this time it's going to be a little 5-day staycation retreat up in Connecticut, where we'll be focusing on the element of water and blessing the waters and receiving blessings from the waters. And it's just going to be fabulous. And if it's something that sounds like it's interesting to you, then come on along and join us, because we would absolutely love to have you join us. But sometimes we really talk about finding or figuring out what our path is, or figuring out what we should be doing. And we ask for guidance and we ask for clues. And then we get guidance and we get clues. And then we say, well, was that really guidance or was it really a clue? Um, and we don't trust our own intuition and we don't trust our own discernment to let us know that, yes, that's exactly what you should be doing. And that's exactly what I did not do this time. I did not say, well, this went so well that blah, 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 and we had so many good ideas and things that we couldn't even enact because we just, through the process, we thought of so many other things that we wanted to do that it really comes down to, do you trust yourself? And I think that's the major question you have to ask yourself when it comes to the clarity, considering clarity in your life, is do you trust yourself to tell yourself the right things? Do you trust yourself to accept your own vision of what you could be? Do you let self-doubt stand in the way of whatever you could accomplish for yourself? Because every time you have a grand vision of what you want to do you say, oh, wait a minute, let me hold back. Maybe I can't do that much. Maybe I can do this portion and not all of it, right? Or maybe I can, let me see how I can dull down what I thought I wanted to do just in case I can't pull it off. And you know what? This is how we shrink ourselves down small. It's not like we do it on purpose. Like, I'm looking for ways to stay in place, to stay stuck, or to stay where I was yesterday and not move on. And it's because we're scared. We become afraid of, well, what happens if I can't pull it off? Or sometimes even, what happens if I can pull it off? So we really need to try to push aside all of those nagging mindset thoughts, all those negative thoughts we tell ourselves, so that when we are in our place of clarity, we can accept that vision. We can accept that our vision is supposed to be more than we think it can be. That we can accept that it's supposed to be scary. If you're not a little bit scared of what you're trying to do, then you are not dreaming big enough. You are selling yourself short. You're doing what you know you can do rather than what you dream of doing. And that's why when we talk about our aspirations, there's a difference between aspiration and motivation. Aspiration is when you get so excited about your own vision, taking you higher than you ever thought possible. Okay? And that's what we are trying to focus on when we talk about clarity. What makes you inspired to aspire to something new and wonderful in your life, as opposed to motivation, which is your drive to do it. Okay? And there's a difference. There's your vision, and then there's the drive to get it done. Okay? That's two different things. But let's focus for a minute on this idea of clarity. There's a lot of things that we need to focus on, just aside from what is our general purpose going forward, right? Our general purpose is kind of what we're here to do, how we're supposed to be helping ourselves and others. Our mission is how we accomplish that. What is our mission point? So, for example, I think of myself as having the purpose of being a teacher. Whatever I do, somehow I have to find a way to have some students somewhere or talking about something or informing people of something. That's my mission. Okay? I mean, that's my purpose. But my mission, how I accomplish that, is through workshops. It's now going to be through retreats. It's going to continue to be through coaching. It's going to continue to be through healing. But my purpose is to teach. My mission is how I get it done. And so when you think about that for yourself, I want you to think about those two things. What is your purpose, your overall purpose in the world? And then what is your mission to get that done? Right? So if you're going to think about your sacred mission, I think most people seeing this video will know to some degree what their purpose and their mission are. I think where we get hung up is, how do I make it real? How do I make it something that I can take out into the world? And what does that look like when I do it? And so I'd like to do just a little bit of a visualization exercise with you. And we're going to involve two of our three intuitions. And that's going to be our third eye and our heart. Okay? And we'll get to that other confidence part a little bit later. So I'd like you to just close your eyes for a minute and relax. Do a little deep breathing. And on the last breath, gather up any tension or anything that is blocking you from just being totally relaxed and ready to focus on yourself. So breathe in, gather it all up, and breathe it out with intention. And so I want you to think of yourself either at your desk, at your station, at your shop, at your busiest place where you would be if you were to be working on your mission right now. What would you be doing? Would you be healing clients on a table? Would you be creating soaps or other products for healing? Would you be counseling other women or men, for that matter, or children? Would you be cutting hair? Would you be dancing on a stage? Would you be talking to a group of interested listeners? Where would be the place that you would feel the most at home, or the most efficient at what you're supposed to be doing with your life? And now that you have your vision there, I want you to tap into your heart space and think about how this makes you feel about yourself and about those you work with. Does it give you an expansive feeling, like your heart is swelling up and you feel accomplished? Does it feel scary? Does it feel delightful? Does it feel freeing? How does doing your work at your best make you feel? And just hold on to that feeling for a moment and sink into that. Because I think we all have a moment or two, or a way that we feel the most powerful in ourselves, as if we are doing exactly what we are meant to do in the exact way we're meant to do it. And hold on to that feeling one more moment. And now I can say to you that if you can feel that in your heart with clarity, and you can see it in your mind with clarity, then why aren't you doing it with confidence? Why aren't you moving out there in your world and doing exactly what you want to do in the exact way you want to do it? And I would love to get some responses to that in the comments. Why is that? And I think it's because I think that, sometimes we can see with clarity, we can feel with our hearts, but the confidence that we should have, just because, we are all here to be part of each other's lives and to help each other and to serve each other in the way that we desire and to fulfill our purpose and mission on the planet, and that we lack that final ingredient. And if you think that that's true of yourself, then this is where we can really boost you to get you going in the way that you want to in your business. So let's get a little bit more into our clarity, though, before we move on. I just really wanted to dig into that feeling of how great it feels to be doing what you're supposed to be doing on the planet, and that feeling can be yours. You don't have to wait. No lines, no waiting. It really is up to you. It's up to you to take that leap of faith on yourself. Okay, so we talked about Dorothy. We talked about um, the third eye, the heart, and the womb meeting up with clarity, courage, and confidence, right? And that we can call on each of these spaces in our bodies to help us work on those three aspects. I've often asked people, from time to time, done little surveys, which do you think is the most important, clarity, courage, or confidence? And I always get all three answers, because it really depends on where the person is in their journey. When people are just starting out, it really is the clarity that is the most important. And then as people become more and more clear with what they would like to do with their lives, what they feel their purpose and their mission are, they get into needing more of the courage. Can I dream bigger? Can I dream, a little bit more than I thought I could? And then finally, it's the confidence to push yourself out there in the world, right? So I want you to think for now about your mission and your purpose very seriously for a moment. And I think these days people do a lot of talk about, well, here's my purpose, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm breaking generational curses, and I'm, all kinds of stuff that people think they're supposed to be doing out there in the world, along with, creating money and space for themselves to live through their spiritual businesses. And I want to say one thing about being clear about one aspect of being in spiritual business. And that is the idea that people who are in spiritual business should not be making money. And to me, this is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. Because what do you value more, right? Somebody who's just out there in the world, in business for themselves, and not contributing spiritually in any way, and somebody who is contributing and who is trying to uplift other people with what they do. Okay? I think we value the spiritual person's work more than we do just somebody who's out to make money. Okay. Um, so why is that person's time, energy, effort, education, skill not worth money? You know, people say all the time about how, well, the village used to take care of the healer or whatever. Well, guess what? The village has gotten a lot bigger, and the electric company, they don't take chickens in payment anymore. Okay, so people have to recognize that um, there is the paradigm or the archetype of the wounded healer, meaning somebody who has healed themselves and therefore becomes capable of healing others. But there is no archetype of the impoverished healer that we should allow ourselves to fall victim to. And I think sometimes this may be the thing that derails people from going into spiritual business, because they figure, I can't charge. I got to be poor in order to do this. And they can't see either raising their family or having a lifestyle where they're not making money. And I think we really need to throw that mindset out of the window, because I think if what you're doing is bringing value to others, um, then you need to be compensated for that, because money is just another form of energetic exchange. And if I'm bringing to you value, then you need to reciprocate that value back to me the same way you would any other type of job. Nobody goes to work for free. That's called slavery. So please free your mindset of that kind of notion that I think a lot of times we want to be able to work in community, and let's face it, many of our people in our communities, they don't have a lot of money to be throwing around. A lot of people don't have money to be throwing around right now. A lot of people are in need of funds, and living paycheck to paycheck, and you know we really need to be able to understand that and honor that, and not be price gougers by any stretch of the imagination. However, that doesn't mean that there are not ways where maybe have a sliding scale if you feel inclined to do that in your business, or if you charge some people and don't charge other people. It really is up to you. But don't let money concerns be the thing that makes you say, I can't um, do this spiritual business that I know I really need to do. That is really part of my calling. And I also want to say, for the people in the group that are writers, and I know because I'm a writer, a lot of writers are in this group. Um, Writing, storytelling is one of the most ancient and important spiritual art forms that we have. And that, yes, writing is a spiritual business. You know, whether you may think of it quite that way at first or not, but it is. Because you are helping people to understand the human condition through your writing. You are helping people to understand themselves and each other through your writings. And it's very important to be able to retell our stories as people. Every story wasn't always written down. I mean, there were days where it was an oral tradition. The stories of our different peoples, or different myths, different traditions, legends. They were not written down. They were oral. But even so, whether you write them down or you retell them, whether you're that person that can go to a party and retell the story of something that's happened and have everybody engaged, this is still a spiritual pursuit. So please, if you didn't include yourself in this conversation before, please do so now, because this is spiritual work. Okay? All right. So let's get a little assignment going for ourselves for tomorrow. And I think one of the things, if we want to be clear about it, I think we need to sit down with ourselves and think about, what is our true purpose. And when I say think about it, I don't necessarily mean think about it with the rational brain. We can think about it with any aspect of our energy field, right? We can think about it, which is why I said let them mingle up together and let the energy feed off of each other. But let's be clear about what is our purpose. And I think many people's purpose is to, at this point on the planet, is just to help other people heal. It can be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be something specific, okay? But once you take that purpose and you accept it, and I think that's one thing that we sometimes don't do, is we don't accept what's been given to us. We pussyfoot around it. We try to do this and that and the other thing. And I know I've been a victim of that myself. But we fully accept our purpose. Okay. And what is the mission by which we're going to do this, right? And I would have to say too that I really consider myself to have two purposes. One is to be a teacher, because that just happens, right? But my second purpose, and this has almost always been the case throughout my entire life, which is to serve the goddess. Not any goddess in particular, but the vibration of the divine feminine. And my very first blog that I ever had was called On a Mission from Goddess. And the idea here is that I know that the creator energy, it's neither male or female. It's both and neither, right? But we talk so often about God and the masculine, the divine masculine, and not so much about the divine feminine. Maybe lately, but historically, in the last, I don't know how many millennia, not so much. And so if we want to have our creator energies balanced, then we need to uplift the goddess. We need to take her seriously. We need to balance these two energies. And by that, I mean it's almost like the yin-yang symbol, where one chases the other, where the two energies are constantly in flow. That is my ultimate purpose on the planet, right? So how do I do that? How do I continue to uplift the goddess? Definitely through teaching, right? But also through all the other things that I do, all right? And also by working with women, and I work with women almost exclusively, to help them value the goddess in themselves. Because this is the way that we uplift all of this divine and sacred feminine energy to a point where we are in flow with the divine masculine in a way that's healthy for the entire planet. So when I think of what divine mission statement or what sacred mission statement I can make, right? I think of it in these terms. And this may be something that you can do for homework tonight. This is how you can get yourself acclimated in your own sacred mission. And I'll put this in the comments. And it's I, state your name, serve what population to help them get what results so that they can do what. And everybody's texting me now. What is this? Okay. So for me it would be I, D-Sef-Wa, serve seasoned women to help them become the HGICs, or head goddesses in charge of their own lives and businesses, so that they can create the life they dream of, desire, and deserve. And I hope that you can find your own mission statement tonight, and we will talk more in depth tomorrow. And hopefully it'll be at 1 o'clock. because this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous that it took so long to meet with you tonight. So I hope we have like a few minutes left. If anybody has any questions, I can't really see my dashboard um, to even know what the heck is going on here. Um, but I'm going to leave you a little bit early tonight so you can work um, on your sacred mission statement. And I will see you tomorrow. Thank you, goddesses. Good night.